Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, breaker of the seals, master of the covenant, breaker of the seven seals of Revelations, aka the AL-INJIL. Let's bring in our audio section, the fire zone. The fire zone. This is the black alert section of the fire zone. Sisters and brothers, we're going to talk about consequence. Action equal reaction. Justice. That's something we have not seen in 500 years. But consequence is a fundamental principle of the universe. It's a fundamental principle of God. Because God is justice. That's why there's going to be a judgment day. Everyone has to give an account. That's justice. That's consequence. Everybody's going to have to pay for what they've done. They say you be rewarded as you have done. The books will be open. They will be rewarded according to their works. That's justice. That's consequence. So a day will come when you have to face the consequence of your actions. Now, like a Sister Nicolette recently said, is that they have taken and removed the idea of consequence from your consciousness. The way the Bible puts it is that there's no fear of God before their eyes. Because they've given you a fake reality. There's only one reality. That's mathematics. So if you say, my religion is mathematics, there's nothing they really can say about this. Well, you're not religious, you're an atheist. But they really can't mock it because the proof of it is all around them. But you can mock Christianity, you can mock Buddhism, you can mock Hinduism, you can mock all of it because it makes no sense. And there's no evidence of it. None whatsoever. There's no evidence of any of those religions. See, mathematics is our reality, the true reality. You see evidence of it all around you. Everything you have, everything you see, everything you possess, including yourself, is based on mathematics. Your DNA, that's mathematics. Chemistry. See? Everybody look, all I see is mathematics. But 50,000 years ago, when we entered into the energy deprivation era, our mental capabilities begin to decline. Our grasp on the true reality of mathematics begin to decline. So 15,000 years in, by 35,000 years, our mental capability, because of energy deprivation, was diminished so much that we lost grasp on the true reality, which is mathematics. Yet, the mind wants to understand what reality is. Let me explain to you energy deprivation for a second. See, this is mathematics, brothers and sisters. See? Now, the KV, he says this all started with the Big Bang. And all this energy was in one ball, one place, one atom, whatever, exploded, boom. The Quran has a similar, it says, the heavens and earth were one, and then we expanded the heavens. So that means in both cases, all this was the one thing. Right, one. So I would go with the Quran explanation that all the energy out there was one time the atmosphere of the earth. Now, if you can believe in the Big Bang, that all the energy was inside of an atom, then why can't you believe that all the energy was the atmosphere of the earth? Because, oh man, well, it's easy to understand that all the energy out there was the atmosphere of the earth than to say all the energy was inside of an atom. At any rate, so at that time, see, well, you want to talk about, you got to understand all these things. They give me all these different things. We're going to talk about it in a minute. Evolution, all that kind of stuff. So, see, because it kills it's little road bumps or glitches that throws you off. Because you won't understand this if you believe in evolution. Like, no, we started from some simple thing. But that's not right, and we can prove it. But let's just go with the biblical understand that, and the Quranic understand that, everything came from us. Not the Adam thing about 6,000 years ago. So just say, so at that point, all the energy there, so means we were very energetic beings. I mean, that was an awesome amount of energy. We had so much energy. It's unimaginable. Because if all the energy was here, that means we were awesome beings. Awesome. You see? So then the energy, we start expanding, as Quran said, we start expanding on the so-called Big Bang and starts putting energy out there. That means as time goes on, there's less and less energy on Earth until the universe expands to its full expansion, and then there's that minimum amount of energy on the Earth because most of us out there now. You see? So that's what energy deprivation, because now when we were super energetic means now we're energy deficient. We don't have enough, because it takes energy to have a civilization. It takes energy to live. It takes energy to get your heart to beat. It takes energy to see. It takes energy for everything you do. It takes energy to do it. So if you don't have enough energy, then you lose control over some of those things. See? So we lost control. We began to lose control, right, 50,000 years ago, of our civilization, right? We lost our land because they pushed off our land, which is Arabia, right? So we lost control. We started to lose control. See? So Dr. Yakub came with an idea. He says, well, we're gonna lose control of civilization. He says, a bad civilization is better than no civilization. Like bad water is better than no water. So he says, okay, consider us all Lamborghinis, right? So he says, well, we don't have enough energy to maintain a Lamborghini, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and make me a Volkswagen Beetle. I'm gonna strip down that Lamborghini, strip down all the accessories and everything else, right? Until I got me a Volkswagen Beetle that doesn't require half as much energy, even a third as much energy that it takes to maintain a Lamborghini. The insurance, the expensive tires, expensive gas, and that stuff. You don't need that stuff for a Volkswagen Beetle. So it wouldn't suffer energy deprivation. It would have enough energy to rule. And that's the story of Adam and the Quran says, I'm going to place a rule in the earth, and said, all the angels, which is us, is not some invisible beings, submit to him because they're going to rule. It's time for them to rule. They can rule during this period of time of energy deprivation. See, they can maintain a civilization, be a bad civilization, but it's better than no civilization. Then everybody's running around wild, crazy. See? So that's the whole idea, if you follow that. See? So Adam are the European people. They're a stripped down version of us. See? That they call it circumcised. So when they talk about circumcision, that in itself is a positive thing, the physical added, but spiritually, that's what they're talking about. Circumcise himself, that black skin, be a stripped down version. See? Of that foreskin. See, because they would be successful. And that's what it's talking about. So that's what happened. They were stripped down they were stripped down to the sheer bone. So they don't have compassion. They don't have all the qualities that we have, right? But they would have enough power to rule and maintain civilization. Be a bad civilization, but better than no civilization. Hope you understand that. I talk more about that in other presentations. So now that will last 6,000 years until the universe contracts enough, because the energy starts coming back, as the Quran says, in waves. Every 50 years, a wave, the universe contracting, so it comes back in waves, approximately every 50 years. As the Quran says, it's momentous in the heavens and earth, but it comes to you all of a sudden. So it has to come, the earth absorbs it, and converts in form of energy we can use. And every 50 years, the first positive wave came back, because we was totally devastated under the energy deprivation. See, so no, we were so devastated that we lost total control of ourselves. We were slaves. We was in bondage. See, which Adam we was told to submit to Adam, but we wasn't told to kiss his ass. And Adam was not supposed to go. He was supposed to. We would serve him, but it wasn't supposed to be lynched, raped, murdered, sodomized. Like he went beyond his bounds. That's why he's being judged. We're gonna get back to that later on. That's why he's not being judged because we was enslaved. He was judged because his treatment of the slaves. Because the point is, we're supposed to be servants, not really slaves. He went overboard, and that's what he's going to face the consequence for. So, so the first positive will come in around 1860s. So we have enough energy to break our physical bonds. So that's so-called Civil War. So we start rising up. 50 years later, is that a coincidence with the music? Because music is a reflection of nature. But the point is, who has the most powerful music on the planet? We do. Everybody moves to our music. They don't move to Beethoven. They don't move to Mozart. You don't even lift move a finger on that one. This world is being moved by our music. That means we have the most powerful nature in the planet. Because music is an expression of your nature. And our nature is the most powerful on the planet. That's why, and we produce the most powerful music on the planet. See? So, that's when blues started. Go Google it, don't take my word for it. Blues, because we had the blues. We was thrown out, they didn't need us anymore. That's why they freed us. They didn't free us because they loved us. They didn't need us no more. They went from the agricultural revolution to the industrial revolution. They didn't need us anymore to have machines and things. Heard of cotton gin and all that kind of stuff. They didn't need us anymore. See, and that's a whole other topic I'll talk about in another presentation. See? So, we had the blues because we were thrown in the ditch. The demons were thrown in behind it. That was master children, the house Negroes, right? Because the master said, they said, Master, what are we going to do? Right, what are we going to do? Because, they was living off us too. Master, well, you can't live off us. You live off of them. So they threw us in the ditch and threw them behind us. And they've been living us ever since. Farrakhan was the chief demon. They're the master's children. If you follow the devil, you're a devil. Because you started out as a sperm, not an egg. Anyway, so we had the blues. We didn't know what to do. That's what blues started in that period of time. And then 50 years later, right, another energy wave. So now we have people come across like Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, Elijah Muhammad. So we start feeling jazzy. We went to a period of either Eurocentric or Afrocentric. See, because we got the black people in America as two groups. You have demons who are masters, black-faced children, and their allegiance in nature and heart and love is towards master. You see them, they love master, they love America. They want to marry white, they want to be with them, they want to integrate. See? And the original people, they want to get the hell out of here, get away from these people. See? So you had the Afrocentric people and the Eurocentric. And some of the Afrocentric people did live. They would start Liberia and all that kind of stuff, right? So they went with Marcus Garvey, Elijah Noble Drew Ali, that kind of stuff, the so-called Moors, that kind of stuff, right? So they started feeling jazzy. They started learning about the history, about the African stuff. See? That's the mental. Start breaking down mental chains. Then 50 years later, right? The Motown sound. Just check it out, brothers and sisters. It makes up, a new sound. Every 50 years got a new sound and a Motown sound. Now it's getting really, so now you got a Motown sound, right? That's so-called civil rights movement, And then you got the same, because back at first, when it broke the first chain, you had the Afrocentric blacks, right? Back when it first so-called Civil War, they wanted to get away from the master. They ran to the cities, got far away they could. Some ran to Canada, whatever, right? Like I said. And then some, the rest, they want to stay with master. We sharecrop, we with you, master. They stay on the farm, sharecrop with master. See, you had those two divisions, because some of master seed is like the chaff and the wheat, right? Or the wolves and sheep clothing. So we got those two groups. You got skin folk and you got kinfolk. You better reach that, brother, sister. Half of the blacks in America are demons and half original people. Half are chaff, half are wheat. Half are skin folk, half are kinfolk. See? And you kinfolk, they steal the master's house. The skin folk, they steal the master's house. They're the ones on TV and Hollywood and every place else. And politics and everything else. Because they still love master. They want to be mad. They're trying to teach you to stay. They're your role models, telling you to stay with master, love master. Right? Just even Farrakhan is doing it. We stay here. We want to bring them into the inner eye. When that's totally against everything Master Muhammad taught. Everything against what Elijah Muhammad taught. We're going to bring them in. We're going to stay here in America. We're going to do this. We ain't going nowhere, whatever. So you had the Motown sound. And the same thing again. Right? Have one integration, have one separation. Get away. And once they got what they wanted, what happened to all the demons? They ran over to the suburbs with master, married master children, because they wanted to get rid of that. They wanted to be circumcised. They wanted to get rid of that black skin, so they married white, so their children would be circumcised. Wouldn't have black skin, so they'd be fully integrated back into master civilization, because they don't have that black face anymore. Because they're Caucasians, but they got a black face. That's why they're doing it. You can't blame them for doing it. I blame for you was sucking our blood because they're leeches. You understand? So now we're 50 years later, right? And then, so we broke our social chain. See, we be more energized. We broke our social chain 50 years later. Now we're getting ready to break all chains. That's just what all this stuff about. That's why I'm trying to bring you up to speed here. That's what all is going on right now. Because now we're about to break all chains and about to take our seat back on the throne, back home, right? In control. Like we left off 50,000 years ago. That's what's going on. Okay. Now, the whole idea about consequence. Let's deal with the mathematics of a man. Let's see. Okay. When you can't, so in other words, the human brain, right? We have two types of brains, the analytical and the spatial. The original people are spatially orientated. The Europeans are analytically orientated. In fact, Time magazine about 50 years ago wrote a whole book about that. You probably can find it, right? Talking about the analytical man, spatial. And they say that we're spatial and they're analytical. See? Spatial is more comprehensive, creative. Technical is less comprehensive, more direct, but it's technical. You say the spatial is B, and analytical say it is. It brings it to this because it's technical. Okay. So, but it's all mathematics. So, okay. If I say my religion is mathematics, see, that's evident. But you say, but see, we're told that Islam is mathematics and mathematics. Not talking about Sunni Islam stuff over there. There's no mathematics in that at all. So we're talking about, forget about religious, just say, my religion is mathematics. Because first of all, religion is I shouldn't use religion. My thought process is mathematics. See, your thought process is religion. See, they call it religion. But what is it? Religion is philosophy. I don't think you can argue with that. See, because you have no proof otherwise. is someone's idea of how things work. It's someone's idea of how things work. They say, oh, well, I'm going to go with what the scripture says. Well, do you understand what the scripture says? Because your idea of scripture, can you prove it? Can you prove any of it? I mean, I'm not saying scripture's wrong, because scripture's 100% right. But it says under the veil, so you don't understand it. But all religions are people's idea, because in fact, if you go and talk Christianity, you got about, if you talk to 1,000 different Christians, you're going to get 1,000 different opinions of what Christianity is all about. So how can we have a united opinion? It was mathematics. You never have 1,000 opinions of whether 5 plus 5 equals 10. There's only one opinion on that. See? But religion, you have 1,000 different opinions. That's why you have 1,000 churches. You can have 5, 6 churches on one block. All teaching different things. Because that's their opinion. You see? And that's where religion started beginning 35,000 years ago, because people try to understand this reality, try to understand reality, not this reality, but reality, and they try to make sense of it. And so the first one they came up with Buddhism. Hinduism followed. See? Try to understand this reality. Because right now you got people, Christians say, well, I believe in angels, I believe God somewhere, and all, they can't prove any of that stuff. But they're trying to make sense of this reality because the human brain attempts to do that. See? And they call it religion. But it's really philosophy, it's just their opinion. But the lie comes in where they tell you that's fact. See, if they tell you that's my opinion, then you can live with that. But the lie comes in, they tell you Hinduism is a fact, Buddhism is a fact, Christianity is a fact, Judaism is a fact, animism is a fact. That's where the lie comes in. Because it's not a fact, they can't prove any of it. And then they want to demand that you believe in it. So they want to force you, because a lot of them, at some point in time, they want to force you into believing it, and they want to kill anybody that doesn't. Yet it's just a philosophy, a belief. And all of them contradict themselves to no end. But mathematics doesn't contradict itself, and mathematics forces you to say anything that's not provable, called a theory. So evolution. See, we talked evolution earlier, but you better check it out, because evolution is not a fact. It's a theory. But some of you think it's a fact. It's a theory. They can't prove it. It's just their theory based on evidence that things they looked at, right? The evidence they found, and so they concluded that that's how things happen, though they cannot prove it and they cannot duplicate it in the laboratory. They cannot take and produce. They done all kinds of things. They took I think of these flies that they multiply so fast, like every few hours, whatever. And so they go through thousands of generations, like in maybe a week or so, and they haven't found any time that the fly evolved as anything else, because it doesn't happen. There's no such thing as evolution, but the record seems to suggest that it does. But they don't understand the whole record. There's more to the record than that. I'm not going to go to it here, brothers and sisters, right? But it's a theory. They call Einstein was one of the probably greatest theological scientists or whatever. Right? Not on a level, close to the level of Newton. Newton goes in, he's the man, right? And Einstein, a close second or something. And they call his stuff a theory. The theory of relativity. So they force you to say, if you can't prove it, they have to call it theory. But religions don't do that. They won't come and tell you, say, my theory. This is my theory. So that's where the lie comes in. And then they force you to believe by all kinds of techniques, like Christianity. They use fear to get you to comply. Because if you don't comply, you're going to hell forever and ever and ever without end. Yet this is a loving God that created you. So he created a defective product. Then he got mad at the product, kicked the product in the ass, and then burned up forever and ever and ever. That's his defective product that he made. So square that one. And that's a fact. Because they tell you, see the contradiction, they tell you this God can see infinitely into the future, he can see everything in the future. So he knew exactly what he was making. He knew exactly what he was going to do. He knew exactly what he was making when he made Adam, if you believe that story. He actually knew exactly what Adam was going to do, but there's a lot of mistakes along the way. But first of all, after he made Adam, they said, oh, well, Adam's going to need a woman. Well, wait a minute. Did Adam have the physiology to have a woman? If he did, then how did God miss giving the man the physiology to have a woman and don't realize he needed a woman? That would make any sense. If he didn't have the physiology, then what physiology did he have? So that had to be changed once the woman came on the scene, right? But there's no mention of that in the scripture at all. You see? And so, the only thing is the woman came out of his rib. So in other words, he took a rib and made, so in other words, the woman was in the man, or whatever. You see? And that's the story they give you. You see? So, and then, I mean, we can play with that one. Because first of all, you know, they say, well, Adam was the first, but they was all white. Then you have to ask where black people come from. You know, you got a lot of problems there. See? But getting back to God, he could see in the future. So when he made Adam, forget about the female part, you know, making a woman, then he knew Adam was going to be defective because he already knew what he was making. He knew what they were going to do before they did it because he could see into the future. So he knew Adam was going to do. So he knew Adam was going to mess up. So he knew Adam was a defective product. So then when Adam messed up, then he gets mad at Adam for messing up a product that he himself made. Then he throws him out of paradise, him and Eve, that he made, they didn't make themselves, according to Scripture, that he made, and then he beats them up, curses them, and then because they sinned, they're going to be thrown in hell forever and ever, without end. No end. And where's the love in that? Where's the love in it? Yeah, God's love. Where's the love in that? That sounds like a genocidal maniac, a sadistical maniac. That would sound like to me, that God they portray in here, that's not my God. That's some crazy maniac that's been around too long. That's what that is. And then you got to move further along, and then he gets so mad, right? He drowns everybody. Yet he got all this power, right? And you can't wake up unless he lets you wake up. So according to Farrakhan, so why don't you just put everybody to sleep? Why don't you make Noah build his ark and put all these animals on it? You know, these animals, they go to all the animals on the planet, right? They say cover the whole planet. Do you know what kind of task? That'd take a million years to do that. He'd have to go every place on the planet to get animals. They have kangaroos in Australia. They don't have any place else. So you got to go to Australia. You got to travel over to Australia to get the kangaroos and bring them back and a pair. Then you got to go to Africa to get giraffes. Then you got to come over to America to get turkeys. See, so you got to do all this traveling, and there's billions and billions of species on the planet. You have to have an ark bigger than the size of New Jersey to even think about putting them all on there. And it would take you a million years to do it. So what happened to the first ones he put on the ark? Who's going to be feeding them? There's only 9 of them altogether. Who's feeding them? Who's taking care of them? You know, that story makes no sense at all. It didn't happen. That's not what it's talking about. It's talking about something totally different. You see? So he drowns everybody except for those on the ark. And then, here we go. Once the ark is over, Noah gets drunk, right? Noah gets drunk, right? So, hey, what do you have, J&B? You know, I don't know. But he got drunk, right? See, so they must have had stored on the bar, because, I mean, you know, all the bars, you know, they was going to close down. Anyway, so then Shem, his son, did something despicable. You read the story. So he got cursed black. He got cursed black. So black is a curse. With nappy hair, we got cursed black, and all his seed, his descendants, Ham, right? From him, all the descendants, right, would have that curse. They're black, right? Nappy hair, and it was cursed to be slaves forever and ever and ever, without end. That's how we came about. That's the story. See? And a lot of you black folks are buying that. Because the demon preachers are teaching that kind of stuff, which is nonsense. But why you accept it? Because they took and programmed you. They brought you over here in 1555. It took 64 years to program you to turn you into a Negro butt. A Negro butt. See, you know what a robot is? See, it doesn't think. It just does what Master tells it to do. And so it made you Negro bus. The first Negro bus rolled off the assembly line in 1619. That began the slavery process of Abrahamic covenant. Look up the Abrahamic covenant. They don't want you to know about it. It's in the so-called Old Testament and New Testament. Read the whole thing. Don't just read the part. Farrakhan wants you to read about the suffering. Read about the part about going home and reward for our suffering. Read the whole thing. See? That's the story. See? This is the God they tell you. So, you know, so that's the Christian religion. That's also Judaism to some extent. Well, actually, mostly Judaism, to tell you the truth. See, because Christianity is an offshoot of it. Judaism is mostly the so-called Old Testament, the Torah and so forth, and Christianity is mostly the so-called New Testament. Right? That's what, and these are philosophies. See, in mathematics, if you have opinion, then it's called theory. But in religion, they say it's a fact. And like you can go in and tear the stuff apart, because it's not. The whole book is under veil, and you don't understand it, and the whole book is about the future. They give scripture to tell you what's happening in the future. They don't give scripture to give you history lessons. That's not the purpose of scripture. But that's what they're telling you, because they want you to think that all those things happened in the past, so you don't know who you are. This whole thing is about you, brothers and sisters. It's all about you, but you don't know it. But they turn you into a Negro butt, and they have these demons making sure you stay programmed. Make sure you stay programmed. Love master. You got two Christianities in America. I mean, aside from all the different variations and dominations and things, sex. You got two major Christian religion in America. You got the demon robot, the Negro butt version, and you got master version. See, the demons, they serve the master version. See, because one tells you to be submissive to the other. It's not telling the whites to be submissive to us. It's telling us to submit and obey master. Obey your master. Well, they was the master, we wasn't. So you got two. One of us to be submissive and love them and praise them, and no matter what they do, we're supposed to love them. And in fact, the worse they treat us, the better we're supposed to treat them. The more we're supposed to submit to them. If they ask you for one coat, give them both. They ask you for one glass of water, give them all your water. Right? If they beat you, love them. The more they beat you, the more you love them. Turn love and so you're going to get more beatings. Because now you love them, you become yourself to a masochist. So that's the true religion. It's not the same. Your Christian religion, if you original person, is different than theirs. Because their religion tells you by definition, you got to submit to them. You got to be under their control. And there it says they can beat you if they want to, because you was born to be their slave. They don't have to respect you or anything. You're like a pet or something. You better get on board, bro. Stop the bullshit. This is no bullshit zone. That's the situation. But see, the thing is, we were supposed to submit to them because it was their time, because energy deprivation was 6,000 years, specifically in the last 600 years. And then they brought the demons online because they couldn't relate to us. And they took us into captivity. They couldn't relate to us because we two separate people. So they start producing demons. That means they started raping women all over the world. That's why these people got light. In South America, people light because the Spanish came and raped them. All over the place. The Hawaiians, every place. They raped people and people came, because most people on the planet was black, darker than me, when they came out of Europe. Read chapter 20. When they burst out of Europe, right, and every place they found dark people. But they raped them and everything, and they started producing demons because they couldn't communicate with people directly, so they started producing wolves and sheep clothing. They started shooting their seed, but they gave their seed our skin tone. See, and that would destabilize all the nations, because now all of a sudden, when you have peace in China, you got peace in Japan, right? You got peace in India, you got peace in Australia, you got peace over here, and all of a sudden, you got a lot of chaos because now you got their seed in there, and they're devils. That's why they act like devils. Their heart is towards master, and so they cause Lord to feel, why are you acting like that? Why are you acting like wolves? See, all the sheep all over the planet say, man, what's wrong with those people? And all of a sudden, man, we miss a whole lot of sheep all of a sudden. You understand? There's not a lot of land. And those people those sheep, they act different. Those lambs, they act different. They look different. They look like us. They sure act a little different. They're a little more aggressive. See, and then we say, hey man, why you acting like, hey man, what you mean, man? You say, I look just like you. Was you divisive, man? You down the brother? See? What do you think the wolf would say? Man, you better forget about this nature stuff. Pay attention to skin tone. See, I look like you. Oh man, but you act different. Yeah, well, hey man, we're moving on. It's time, you gotta understand, man, the new world, man. We move, everybody make everybody be robots, everybody got to say now. And they stabilize all the nations like that. They just stabilize all the nations. These demons, right? Yellow demons, brown demons, black demons, we had the worst case of it. They was stabilizing all the nations all over the world. That's what happened right now. And that gave Master the ability to control them. And they went on unimpeded, unrestrained, unnoticed, right? Because couldn't detect, nobody knew about demons. Demon was something that you couldn't see, whatever. It said Suleiman would come and expose them. Because the world was plagued by them, and people didn't understand what was going on. Because they was hidden. What the Quran calls the hidden enemy. But they don't say hidden enemy, but they talk about the open enemy. So it must be a hidden enemy. That's the demons. They're all over the planet. We got the worst case over here. See, because they physically raped us, unrestrained, relentlessly raped our women for 400 some years, producing their demons. See? So you see, remember, their demons are successful like they are, not to the degree they are, but they're not suffering energy deprivation either as much as we are. So you see them all over the news, you see them all over politics, you see them all over sports, right? Hollywood, everything. Those are demons. And they tell us they're supposed to be our role models. And they're causing confusion all over the planet. See? Because they're not like the indigenous people. They're like massa. See? And they cause nothing but trouble. That's what they do. Make mission shed blood. That's what they do. So now they laid the groundwork here. Now, during that time, Adam was given control. But he was given limits to his control. And his judgment was based on his exceeding those limits. Because he really exceeded those limits when it came to us. I mean, there was no limits to what he did to us. He had no restraint whatsoever. It says the fear of God is not before their eyes, because that means they had no fear of consequence. That's the analytical mind. It has no sense of consequence, because it just does what it sees in front of it. The spatial mind, it has a strong sense of consequence, because it has a comprehensive look at things, so it considers all aspects of it. The positive and negative, the action and the reaction, we consider all of it. And that's the original people. But you see demons, they don't have no sense of consequence. See? That's what makes it so deadly. But having not a sense of consequence don't mean you won't face consequence. And so they was able to amass all this power because they had no sense of consequence, right? That would destroy all this power. Because every action has an opposite but equal reaction. That's justice. That's the nature of justice. That is justice. That's the equal sign. Action equal reaction. Every action has an opposite but equal reaction. Right? You reap what you sow. Karma. And what goes around comes around. See? Those are all acknowledgments of consequence. And consequence always happens immediately, but it can go unseen. That's where the problem comes in at. Because you can do evil things and not see the consequence. Jesus talks about that. He says, you won't see it till it's too late. Because you can be doing evil things and the consequence is not obvious. The consequence could be nourishing a tumor. Consequence could be producing bad seed. See? Ignorant seed, ignorant people, ignorant children. Consequences have all kinds of repercussions. It has all kinds of ways of manifesting itself. Now, if you go and beat somebody with $1,000, and then you have a bumper crash, what they call it, right? And then you got to pay $1,000 right to fix it. See, that's immediate. So you see it right away. See, you see it right away. So that right? So now you can learn, that's wisdom, you learn from that and say, oh man, you make the connection, maybe you won't do it anymore. But mercy comes in is when you don't see it, but somehow you warned. So if you nurse this tumor, because you steal the money from people every day, you steal $1,000 from everybody every day, so you nurse this tumor, right? And it's getting stronger and stronger every day, but you don't see it. And then somebody come and tell you, get religious, something, hey man, you need to stop doing it, you're going to get in trouble and everything. Then you say, then you repent and stop doing that, and you start helping people. Then it's to reverse yourself, you never knew you ever had it. That's what mercy, that's mercy. That don't mean that's mercy, because it's still a consequence of your action. So you think mercy is, oh, we just play on Jesus, you forget. No, there's no such thing. There's consequence to every action. There's no exception. That's what mercy is. Oh, well, I just pray to Jesus and then you forgive it. No. That's why it says, what to tell you? You have to repent and do good. You have to do something. In order to receive mercy, you have to repent and do good. That means you have to do something to reverse the effects of the consequences you caused. But you don't understand. Christians don't understand at all. Because you say, oh, I got to believe in Jesus, and you keep on doing what you're doing. Like that sister said in her consequence, podcast, and you keep on doing what you're doing. See? And then you don't understand when you run into the consequence explode on you, then you can't say, oh man, so I got inoperable cancer. See? Or you end up in some kind of trouble, right? Or some family member or something, right? It spills over to your family somehow. But it's not going to affect someone that's innocent. It'll affect your family in the sense that how you relate to it, how it's going to affect you, your relationship with it. But anyway, you're going to suffer the consequence. And the thing is, America's trying to say that they don't have to suffer consequence because they did nothing wrong. See, because they put in their mind that they're the spiritual seed of Abraham, that they inherit that the Jews, the false Jews, because they were saying they was and they weren't either, but the Europeans got in their mind, because the Jews are Europeans still so, right? But it's 12 tribes of Europe. The tribe of Judah are the people that call themselves Jews. That's where the word Judah comes from. Jews come from, because they were the tribe of Judah. The 11 tribes are just European tribes. And so it says, tribe of Judah, they stayed with religion, while the others just turned away altogether. See, but when Jesus came, right, the tribe of Judah, they turned against him, and the other 11 tribes turned towards him. So now they're saying they are the spiritual seed, they're the inheritors now, because the Jews lost their inheritance. See? And then they start cursing the Jews. They say, you Christ killed, and they start oppressing them. And at the time, in the 40s, they was trying to eradicate them. They was putting smoke up in ovens. Because the other 7 tribes said, we the seed of Abraham. We the true Israel. See? And so they saying, America's the promised land. So therefore, they didn't do any wrong, because they was getting rid of the vermin, The Russian roaches, that's the Native American, get rid of them because they was in the way. This promised land belonged to them. So they didn't do anything wrong by eradicating them, taking this land, because that was land promised to them. And bringing us over here as slaves, they didn't do anything wrong because we ham. See? We were born to be slaves. We were supposed to be slaves. That's why we was cursed black. So in their mind, they're doing everything right. So they're not suffering any consequence because they're following, right? No negative consequence because they're doing what God says. So they're not suffering any negative consequence. In their mind. See? And so that got like salve to their mind, right? Like a comfort to their mind. It was like a comfort blanket to their mind. You understand? And then comes on Elijah and says, no. Full stop. No, you are not. False Israel is not, neither are you. The real seed of Abraham is the one you call Ham over here. The one you're oppressing. They're the true seed of Abraham. Uh-oh. And we got the proof. Because there's no fact that false Israel was ever, the people call themselves Jews over there, which are a synagogue of Satan, that says in Revelation, there's no proof there was ever any foreign land for 40 years, no proof whatsoever. And there is no proof. And again, if you go look at it, they say they was in Israel, right? And then they was taken captive into a foreign land that was not theirs for 40 years. So that's what we Egypt. Have you ever looked at a map lately and look at Israel, what they call Israel, and look at Egypt? They're right next to each other. It's like going from New York to Canada. So how the hell is that a foreign land? A stranger in a foreign land. How the hell is that? You consider Canada a foreign land that you take away? And, I mean, if they took us prisoners in Canada, how long did that last? You could escape and come back to America. That's bullshit. But they say it was the prisoners over there, and there's no proof of it, none whatsoever. No Egyptian proof, anything. There was ever prison in there. And they told Jesus that same thing. Because Jesus said to them, know the truth, and the truth will make you free. And they told him, what the hell are you talking about? We ain't never been prisoners to anybody. We never been captive slaves to anybody. So they admitted it. And it's supposed to happen 4,000 years ago, and they talking to Jesus 2,000 years ago. So they said, no, that never happened to us. And Jesus told him, no, you're devils. He said, you're not Abraham's seed. He said, your father's the devil, and his works you will do. He was a liar and murderer from the beginning. He said, when he lies of his own, and you just like him, you lie, you're a big liar just like he is. That's what he told him. See? But no, you don't want to hear that. See? So when he comes along and says no, and he got the evidence, and they have no proof, he got the evidence, they had to stop killing the Jews and start a case of false identity theft. They had to say no. They was burning them up. They've been persecuted for years, calling Christ killed and everything for hundreds of years, over 1,000 years, right? So suddenly, overnight, in the blink of an eye, their shit became honey. Everybody's eating honey. And they put it back over there and said no, because they had to counter that, because the counter idea, the fact that we're the true seed of Abraham. That's what they put in 1948. In 44, before they was burning them up. No, it's blink of an eye after 1,000 years, then now they're okay. Well, sisters, you better stop the bullshit. Stop the bullshit. Open your eyes and start asking questions. See? Ask for proof. See? This religious stuff. We had the proof, so they had to come up with a religious idea to counter it. So they said, well, that's for us is the real deal. So now that gave them that mental comfort again, a mental a warm blanket, safety blanket. See, comfort blanket if you want to call it, for their mind. See, because now now they still good, right? And now they worshiping, because they said, he who blessed Israel will be blessed. So now America goes all in and protecting false Israel in every respect. Because now we bless them, see, and they're there, that's them, and and we good people, we the spiritual seed of Abraham, right? And so, we took this land as promised land, and those niggas, man, they ham, God said they slaves forever. So hey, nothing wrong here, no problem here. See, that little safety net. See? So now, but they may be saying that, but the consequence of all this doing, because all those are lies. So the consequence is still building up. But it's building up unseen. It's coming against them. They don't see it. So it's building up. You see? It's building up, constantly building up. They don't see it. If they saw it, maybe they might correct themselves. But they wouldn't, and this would just say maybe they would have. I doubt it. In fact, I'm sure they would not. Anyway, so it's building up, unseen. See, it's like you're building up a dam, you're building up water. But soon, the water becomes so strong that it breaks the dam. And so, how long can they hold back the consequence? Just like, if you get a tumor, the tumor, at some point, tumors will be fatal. You hold it back, the consequence, right? The consequence is happening, but you don't notice it. It's still happening. See? But at some point, it becomes fatal. So the consequence is building it, unknowing, unseen, and now it's becoming fatal. And that's what you see in the world today. See? Because it said it would become fatal after the 400 years. So it would be 1619, because we was brought in 1555, took 64 years to program us to turn us into Negro butts. And so the actual slavery, according to Abraham Cumming, started in 1619 and would go 400 years to 2019. And then it says in 2020, right after that, there'll be a plague, the first of 10 plagues, right? It said there will be a plague that will kill the firstborn, which is elderly, and will pass over us. Exactly what happened. COVID came exactly on time. 2020, January 2020 came exactly on time, like they said. Exactly. See? And they claim at first it was killing us. That was a lie, because just Google the World Health Organization, and they said about a couple of months ago, right, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, that they couldn't understand why it was passing over Black Africa, Haiti, and all places where Black people were, but it was killing Europeans and everybody else, especially Europeans. See? But it was killing all over like flies, which was a lie. But they didn't talk about that anymore. See? You understand? So that beginning, that was the beginning of the consequence. The consequence can manifest. Because now, oh, man, I'm feeling some pain. See? Then you want to go to the doctor to hear the bad news. See, that's like the pain. That first one. The Jews understood what that meant. Then, when they saw the COVID, that's why they had to put this thing out. It was killing blacks like flies, because they knew exactly, they could cleanse their history. Exodus. And the Passover. They celebrate Passover. That's what they mean, Passover. They passed over the plague that they claimed had happened to them. So therefore they went full, right? Full blast to try to make it, to cover that up. Or it's killing blacks and everything else. But false Israel was catching it worse than anybody else. So if you pass over them. See? So now they start to feel the pains, right? Because consequences are starting to show up. See, they start to feel the pains now. All that, you better go to the doctor. When they go to the doctor, get the bad news. The bad news is the other 9 plagues. And what are the other 9 plagues? That's the war of Armageddon. See, I break it down. I have a whole presentation. Look for it. I break down exactly what those plagues mean in relation to the war. But this is not it. The war we have with Russia and Ukraine, that's not it. See, they're all discombobulated about that. Oh, man. No, that's not it. That falls in the category of rumors, wars and rumors of wars. But the war that's going to ignite Armageddon is the 9 plagues that's going to plague Europe, America, all the European countries in America. That's the 9 plagues. See, the first plague already is in motion. That's the killing the firstborn, that's COVID. Then the 9 plagues, that's the war, aspects of that war. See? That's about to happen, but it won't be ignited. It'll be ignited in the Middle East, because it says that's when the war, it says Michael's angels go to war with the dragon's angels. That ignites the war, because it tells you, it says, when it talks about, it says men's hearts be failing for fear of those things coming upon the earth, which the European countries, if you understand the angel, heaven represents the Middle East. It says men's hearts be failing for fear of those things coming to the earth, because the powers of the heavens will be shaken. That's another way to tell you that it's going to start there. Because who has the power in the Middle East right now? Who has the power in the Middle East right now? America, Britain, and false Israel. He says those powers are about to be shaken. And when they're shaken, the people in the European countries, their hearts are going to be failing because they understand what that means. That means the consequence is fully blown. It's about to hit them. Bam! It's going to blow up in their face. It's the consequence of 500 years of what they've been doing to us and everything else that hit all at once. It's going 500 years of all that consequence going to be compressed in 1 year. They're talking about a time of unprecedented trouble, the tribulation, 500 years of all that hell and the rape and murder and sodomizing and making us see shit and all the stuff they did to us is going to hit them in 1 year. 500 years of hell in 1 year. That's the consequence. Because that's why the hearts are filled with fear. They realize, uh-oh, the dam is broke. And the flood is coming. So hearts are failing. If the hearts are failing, when they see the dam break, what do you think the heart's going to do once the water hits? That's what it's talking about. See? Because they ain't getting away with a damn thing. See? Because part of the consequence is that they don't understand that the God, right? Because the God of this world, they tell you Satan. But the God that's going to overthrow them and the high priest going to throw them is their creation. Because everything, we personify everything. So their evil caused us to produce the original nation in America, to produce a seed that would be personification of the consequence. That's Suleiman. See? You see, he's going to be the author and the driver of the consequence. They produced that, caused us to produce that seed. And the same thing with Master Muhammad. Because their actions over 6,000 years produced him. He's the God of consequence, and Suleiman is the high priest of consequence. So that means you're looking at the personification of consequence, and you might try to kill me if you want to. It doesn't matter, because all they do is instantly, the one would replace me instantly. Because you can't dismiss the consequence. They've already tried to kill me several times anyway. So with personification of the consequence, that's justice. This is a result of your doings. You created this. If you had went beyond the bounds that was given, there would not be any consequence. There would not be any justice. There would not be any judgment. There will always be justice. But you went beyond the bounds that you was given. It was told, do not eat of that tree. You tell you in the Quran and in the Bible, who is the tree? We are the tree. So don't mess with us. So that if you mess with us, the Quran, you'll be unjust. It said in the Bible, if you mess, you'll die. We're that tree. And so now the consequence, see? So your hearts are failing because, that's what I'm saying. Right now, you're nervous right now. You having heart murmurs right now over this Russian thing, and that's not even it. That's just falls in the category of wars and rumors of war. But they tell you they're about to go to war in the Middle East any day now. They tell you that. A false citizen they're going to attack Iran. They already allocated $2 billion for it publicly. They ain't doing it in secret. And they already have planes and everything tested. They said they're going to attack Iran. They said openly they're going to do it. They're going to stop Iran from having nuclear weapons, even to build a threshold. See? And they don't care if they have this agreement. And I've been telling you, they're not going back to JCPOA, and now it's on hold. So we know this could happen any time now. See, it's going to happen this year. That's my opinion. But again, I always tell you that. See, that's my opinion. But it says no one knows that but Master Muhammad. But in my opinion, but based on my search and my study, there's no other process I know of standing between now and his taking down false Israel. Because once false Israel is taken down, that means they could not possibly see Abraham. That means we have to be, that means that safety net, that mind comfort, blanket, pillow they had is gone. So now they realize, no, we ain't the spirit of Abraham, we devils. And God, and Satan's our God. Because Jesus said Satan's God as well. That's the God they've been worshiping. That's why their God doesn't have a name. Because it's Satan. See? They're like a person that's ugly as hell. They're the ugliest thing you ever met in your life, but they never seen a mirror, and everybody's trying to be nice. They tell them how pretty they are, how beautiful they are. They walk around all their life, oh man, how beautiful they are. They never seen themselves. So they walk into a mirror, uh-oh. And it's shock. First of all, they don't believe the mirror. But then they realize the mirror, the first thing they do is destroy that mirror. See? Because we are like the mirror. They have to destroy us. They keep on thinking they're pretty and beautiful. That's why it says, once false Israel is going down and truth is clear, because they made a calculation in a second, if false Israel is not true to Abraham, then we must be. And what does that mean? That means that safety net is gone, that mind comfort is gone, and you got evangelicals who's been praying for that war because they thought it was going to be, false Israel was going to be saved in the neck of time, just at the last moment, and they're going to kill all the Arabs and kill the black folk and everything else, and that didn't happen. And when they realized false Israel was gone, they made a calculation second that we must be the true to Abraham, and what's that impact that means. And these priests and evangelicals, they go, we're going to go out instantly. Get them niggas, get them. Because if we're true to Abraham, that means all the hell they catch. Because at this time, when that happens, when they take false Israel down, America's also going to be in war in Europe. That's the real war. They're going to be in war because because first America and Britain has to be kicked out of the Middle East and leave false Israel under siege, abandoned. You see? And so when they get kicked out, they're going to have to explain how Iran and Syria, they're going to have some help. How they do it? And they're going to say Russia helped them. So that's going to go immediately war with Russia. And then the EU, and says brother against brother, everything else. You better read that carefully because EU, they think that, and NATO, they think that's their friends. They're going to turn on America. They're going to be on the side of Russia. America's going to be catching hell. And now, because remember, that the war is the remaining 9 plagues. So now the remaining 9 plagues kicks in. Once they're kicked out, then the 9 plagues kick in. See? And so now, men's hearts falling for fear, and all this stuff going on. America's in turmoil, right? See? They're getting their ass kicked over there. All their friends turned on them. False Jerusalem under siege. See? And then when false Jerusalem goes down, they're going to make calculations. That's because of us. Because we must be true to Abraham, and all the things become clear. It says in the Bible that all the stuff become clear at that point. Become clear exactly what's happening. And the only choice at that point is just to lay down and die, or to get rid of us. And that's why it says flee. When you see that happen, abomination of desolation, when Israel is surrounded by, Jerusalem is surrounded by, it tells you, when Jerusalem is surrounded, who controls Jerusalem? When Jerusalem is surrounded by armies, that's the desolation of Apartment. It says that desolation, destruction is nigh. It says, run, flee. You're not fleeing from the military, you're not fleeing from the army, you're not fleeing from the police force, you're fleeing from your neighbor, because it's called God, get rid of them, kill them all. That was it, run, don't go back in your house, get your baby, don't do anything, just leave, fast. That's what it's telling you. I'm trying to explain this to you, brother, because most of you ain't paying attention to it right now, but at least I put it there in your mind. Because when the time comes, you'll need it. Because when that hell breaks loose like that there, you're gonna need to know what to do. Because when that happens, shockwaves will go through all the world when false Israel is under siege and about to be taken down. It's going to send shockwaves all, because the whole so-called false reality is based on that lie. It's going to send shockwaves through the world. And it's going to cause fear, great fear. So it's going to cause great fear all over the planet. That means fear is going to paralyze hearts, your heart in particular. Because now you won't listen. Because they got you in a hot zone. You think all you want is music. You want emotions. Because they control your emotions. Church and everything control your emotions. So they're blocking anything going to your mind. You don't want to hear none of this. And unless it's music or Jay-Z or video game, whatever, or some drugs, you ain't hearing it. Because this stuff don't make any sense. You ain't hearing it. Because he's blocked. Because you're Negro butt who's programmed not to listen to any of this stuff. See? But the point is, when your heart feels fear, your mind doesn't feel fear. When you're afraid, your heart is the one that responds, not your mind. But when your heart will happen, then the heart sends a signal to the brain, what the hell to do? What to do? If the brain doesn't know what to do, then you get run over by this 18-wheeler. You stand there and you see it coming and your heart freezes up, paralyzed, and you stand and watch like a deer with his headlamps. You don't know what to do. And you send a signal to the brain, and the brain doesn't know what to do. You stand there, you turn into roadkill. But if your brain knows it, hey, move, get out the way. That's why I'm telling you, flee. So in other words, you ain't here now, but right, it's going to be on your mind. Or that crazy man with the crazy hat and everything else, but it's going to be on your mind. So when he pull the plug over there on false Israel, it's going to paralyze your heart with fear. And that's where you're going to look. Then you're going to listen. And then you're going to remember what I told you. And then you're going to flee. See? You're going to know what to do. Get the hell out. Because then you're going to recognize it. That's what I'm doing. Because it says, Son of Man will be like, Superman will be like somebody planting seeds until the season comes for seeds to grow. And that's when the seeds will start growing. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Okay. Consequence. Action, reaction, justice. See? So everything they've done, they're going to pay for it in spades. Everything they've done, 5 years going to crushed in 1 year. Can you imagine that? You don't have no idea all the evil they did to us. Heads. Some slaves defecate. They say the word shit in other slaves' mouth. Then they cover it up so they couldn't spit out for days. Stuff like that. And stuff go beyond that. They had no end to what they was doing. That's why I call them beast. How would you be treated? How would a beast treat you? Treat you like a beast. That's why they're beast. Because humans would not treat us like that. See? So now all they've done is come, and then and you got Farrakhan and the demons telling you, well, if war comes, you got to fight for America because this our country belongs to us. See? They set you up, fool. This is their war. They going down. That's it. Come out of my people. Pharaoh said, we ain't going nowhere. He's a demon. He's standing for them because he's going down too. We don't want him. He's not going to escape. We're not going to let him go down to us. So he's trying to drag you to help them to survive this thing, if they're possible, or even further than that, right? They get you to sell out. See, because right now it's a criminal act what they did to us. He's trying to take it as a civil act. See, if you have a criminal, if you go out there and you get in a fight, somebody jump on you and beat you up, right? That's a criminal act. So they put you in the hospital. So then now you got to press charges, right? They come and say, well, we give you $50,000 if you don't press charges for your medical bill. So you accept it. So then it's not a criminal act, it's a civil, and it's over. So that's what we're trying to do, this reparations stuff and this 6-state stuff. If to get you to buy that, right, then you turn this justice thing into a civil act. And so God ain't on their case anymore. That's what they're thinking. So you accepted that as payment. So you accept that as a consequence. So if you accept that, then there's no consequence, no justice consequence. In other words, no criminal consequence. It's just consequence of money and giving you things. That's what they're trying to do, brother. Says you don't get it. They're trying to buy their way out of this thing. And Farrakhan, they didn't want to sell it. But the problem they have is that they would have sold this thing a long time ago. The problem was with Elijah Muhammad, because he wasn't going to buy it. Put it this way, like I said earlier, if there's 7 people in a fight, if you get in a fight with 7 people, right, and you put them all in the hospital, and so you say, okay, and one of them don't accept the deal, then the one don't accept the deal, he still press charges. So you ain't solved anything. You got to get them all to accept the deal. All of them not to press charges. And they couldn't get Elijah Muhammad to do that. So they got Farrakhan to do it. See, the problem is, Suleiman came along and he ain't doing it. He ain't buying it. They got to get 100% compliance. Because if just one, then he can still press charges, and that means Master Muhammad still has to come and take him to the promised land and have to execute judgment on these people for what they did. And that's the problem they had. That's why we try to get rid of me. That's the problem that they had. That's the problem they have right now. They have to have 100% compliance. And as long as there's one holdout, it won't work. And Farrakhan was supposed to finish us off. See, if you read chapter 12, right, there's that child. And they tried to deceive with Sunnism and everything, but it was snatched up because the dragon stood by to devour him as soon as he was born. The dragon represents Sunnism. See, that's Farrakhan. That's a child, Suleiman, because he was with the Nation of Islam, right? So he was, as soon as he appeared, right? Then they tried to, after Elijah Muhammad's departure, they tried to divide him with Sunnism. That's what Farrakhan's teaching over there, Sunnism and Scientology. But he was snatched up away with the angel, right? Out of the dragon's grasp. So they couldn't get him. And that's the problem, they couldn't get him. They're still trying. They couldn't get him, they tried to kill him. They tried to kill me several times. That's the problem. See, if they can get you to do that, then they can escape it. Other than that, they just got to wipe you out. And that's what they're going to try to do. Now I would say, flee, run. I'm trying to tell you. When you see abomination, desolation, brothers and sisters, when you see, because this war is about to take place. This war with Russia right here, they're not a war with Russia. That's war in Ukraine. That's Roman wars or rumors of wars. But the war is about to break out in the Middle East. When they attack Iran, that's the one. That's the one that's going to ignite Armageddon. And when you see Jerusalem or false Israel surrounded, right? They say flee, because once they're taken down, it might be too late. Because they're going to be taken down. And some of you are going to hesitate to see some of you black Christians out there. I'm going to wait, man, because maybe Jesus will come and save them. Well, then you're virtually dead. Like somebody that jumped off the Empire State Building, you just ain't hit the ground yet. You see? So I'm warning you. See, he says, I'm a warner, a watch on the wall. War is coming. Not this thing. This ain't it. I'm warning you, the war is coming. The war of Armageddon. It's going to start in the Middle East. That's going to ignite it. Once false Israel's down, America is going to be kicked out. America and Britain's going to be kicked out. And they're going to immediately go to war. And that's the war. That's the war of Armageddon. And it's going to be terrible here in America. See, because they're going to be trying to kill you, wipe you out. I told you that's the time of, the same time they're trying to wipe you out here, and there's going to be all kinds of turmoil here in America. Now they're going to try to wipe us out, but they're going to try to wipe out the Jews here too. See, that's part of the plague system, right? They're going to try to wipe them out too, because now they're going to go back to the way they thought about them before they used them as identity. Now they don't need them anymore. See, they used them for this identity theft thing. But they don't need them anymore. And they're going to blame them for all the stuff that's going on. Because y'all the reason, y'all was pretending to be seed of Abraham, and y'all was doing all that kind of stuff. They're going to be killing them. But remember, the Jews control most everything in America anyway. So they're going to have a big problem with that one. And then the demons. See, it's going to be hell, and soul within and soul without. And that's just the beginning. Right? And it's going to be 12 months of intense hell, destruction, famine, cannibalism on a scale that you can't even imagine. See, ultimately to be invaded by China and India and totally wiped out, destroyed. See, that's the goat in Daniel. The goat that comes across from the west, his feet not touching land, that's China and India. See, everybody's going to turn against America. And they coming, once they see Europe has tore itself apart, now they're the superpowers. They're going to finish it off. But the remaining 9 plagues, they're about to hit. And they're all about Armageddon, which is a European war. And after that war is over, then you go into another war. I'm not going to talk about that because that's right now we need to focus on this abomination of desolation. Remember, brothers and sisters, whether you reject it or not, keep it on your mind. Make a note of it, what I just said, because you're going to need it in a minute. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. So, let's check on our audio, brothers and sisters, over here. Okay. We're going to close out, right? We're going to close out the fire zone, the black alert section of the fire zone. Fire zone out. Okay, brothers and sisters, hope you understand. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. There's plenty of presentations out there. It's a free gift. You can escape all these things. You can escape all these things. Free gift. Nobody's asking you want your money. Nobody's asking anything. Free gift. You have to get your name in the Lamb's Book of Life. Do Farrakhan have a Book of Life? Does Stalin have a Book of Life? Does these preachers have it? It says you have to be in the Lamb's Book of Life. How you know who the Lamb is? The one that broke the 7 seals. Ask when they broke the 7 seals. I have. And can prove it. You can escape all these things. That pray that you be worthy, considered worthy to escape these things. Because you don't want to be here when the shit hit the fan. See? But if you it's up to you. See? So we put the call out there, we tell you. And you can, since our people are lost for lack of knowledge, you can help solve that problem. Get on board, start help spread this word. Because we're going to have a big microphone in a minute. Because we're going to take the demons down. We're going to take false Israel. We're going to take Farrakhan and his demons down. In fact, it's going to happen from within. It says when the thrones are cast down, that means those demons, because Farrakhan is the chief demon, and he's got the temple filled up, he called mosque, filled with demons, right, and vipers. See, when the thrones are cast down, then Ancient of Days is set. His hair's like lamb's wool. Is Farrakhan's hair like lamb's wool? That's about to happen too. That's what happens when the war starts. And then for a brief period, there's going to be a microphone that says this angel or this gospel preaching all the world, then they will come. So you have a second chance. A second chance to understand what's going on before it's too late. So if you ain't listening now, you have a second chance. We're not here to hurt you, brothers and sisters. We're here to get you home. That's why it says the messenger of the covenant, get you home. He's the one that will suddenly come to Elijah's temple. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.